Hello everyone, I'm Renowned Zero. We are back again talking about Jon Malin once again, going on this weird tirade again, going on his whole coping and seething session similar to how the Throat Goat, aka Ethan Van Sciver, has been doing for quite some time now. It's now Jon Malin's turn to go on the same cope session for YellowFlash's book, as literally numbers are being pulled for the 4-day totals for the Mighty Golden Patriot for 57,337 total sales, which includes shipping, made more money than Godlike Romulus Saga Volume 2 and Graveyard Shift Volume 5 within the same amount of time, which is hilarious to me, as the man brings up the fact that Flash has 500,000 subscribers, even though he only has 474,000 or 475,000 subscribers. You rounded up a lot. You rounded up an extra 25k to make it look way worse than it really is. But it's also interesting to me how he doesn't use that same logic with people like, I don't know, Camelot331. It's literally been you for the last 4 or 5 days going on this tirade and this cope and spurging out session over YellowFlash, simply launching a book and saying that basically Flash should have kissed the ring like you do, as much as you kiss ass of said Throat Goat. So this is what Edwin Boyette has to say just to start off this whole video. Through 4 days, the Mighty Golden Patriot is slightly ahead of your crowdfunded projects over the past year. What's the likely cause of that? Is it because Godlike and Graveyard Shift are now mature titles with diminished novelty factor? Is it because the Comicsgate market has decreased? Or some other factor? I believe it's because Godlike was absolute dog water by the most people who read the book. Considering that the book had, 2 full pages of just black in the book? Yeah, what a way to waste 2 pages for a quote-unquote supposed 2-time award-winning writer of the year, for a fake award ceremony that was rigged from the start by these same clowns. So we're going to move on to the first one, the first tweet here, where it's from Comicsgate Drama, the same guy. I'm just reminding people that this is the same guy that got money from Doug Ertz to bury his mother, and now he's over here doing his constant drama farming nonsense. This is Jabba the Cook, as most of you should already know, but the people that are new here, that's who that is. It's an individual by the name of Jabba the Cook, talking about the Mighty Golden Patriot, YellowFlash's book, and, basically him with a gift talking about a rocket going over and crashing. Meanwhile, this is literally the same type of behavior EVS did with Matt Barr when he talked about a bridge being destroyed, saying this is Matt Barr's career. There was actually a video clip of that for the people that remember that one. And then he's talking about, here we go, Ethan Van Sciver cheering or drinking to YellowFlash. We honestly were, and we laughed the loudest. Yes, as, Ethan continues to deliver absolutely nothing. Still working on Cybercuck 2 books from 2019 that are still being delivered into 2025. We went through an entire presidential election of 4 years, and yet still delivering Cybercuck 2, and still hasn't even started really Cybercuck 3, and Rainbow the Brood is over 4 years old. YellowFlash should have learned to simply shut the F up, humble himself, show some effing respect to professional comic creators. You guys aren't even professional. You guys act like little women, like little bitter all the time with that syndrome, and you act as if everybody else are the ones that should be showing you respect. There's nothing to respect about you or Ethan Van Sciver, or even Shane Davis at this point. All you guys do is constantly pocket watch and trash other creators rather than just simply congratulating people. You're the same guy we're going to show later on who says, screw the Golden Patriot book that Dillard also worked on, that they shouldn't back that. They should back a different book just because YellowFlash is not the one writing it, even though Dillard is the same guy drawing the book. Make it make sense, my dude. So you're trashing one book because one writer's there, but it's the same artist, but then you're not trashing another book because it's a different writer, but it's the same artist? Yet you guys are the same people concerned trolling about Dillard needs money, Dillard should be paid, and pay Ethan that 4K for his cover. Not worth it in my opinion. Honestly, the ISOM 2 cover, you like to trash on other cover artists. Meanwhile, Rini's cover for Mighty Golden Patriot is far superior to that ISOM number 2 cover. Instead of, he had a temper tantrum, as he does, and then proceeded to burn every effing bridge in CG while hiring cheap and uninspired cover artists that are also on the outs with most of CG. My guy, Rini, been out of that CG nonsense. She's doing way better off for it. She mostly talks about her art process, the art gone into Fiendish, and Fiendish looks better than anything you guys really can produce. She's actually producing more material than ever before, working for a lot of people, including having a Yaira number 3 cover for cover A, and now having a cover for Flash for Mighty Golden Patriot cover C. And then on top of all that, you want to sit there and you're trashing Kelsey Shannon, a guy that you considered your friend. Also, Rini was another person that you considered your friend, but you're sitting there talking about Kelsey Shannon as well, because don't you guys do, or at least did before, a show called The Jack Show? Isn't he the K of The Jack Show? Wasn't he your friend? What happened to that? Now, this is exactly why I call you and EVS a bunch of snakes, because you literally sit there and as soon as you're no longer associating people, you start trashing them on a consistent basis, and you're just like EVS at this point. You're both absolute snakes. And at this point, Shane might as well be put in there. You guys all act like snakes. Eric July can't even sell a business. What a disaster. I mean, EVS can't even help you sell your trash books. Nobody cared about Godlike 2 because Godlike 1 sucked. And your same throat goat went after John Bua from John's Long Box because he said your book was the book he's ever read in Comicsgate. And then he went off and told John's Long Box that he should break his neck harder while he's sitting there working on Heroic Tales. Newsflash, Heroic Tales came out before Rainbow the Brute and Cybercuck 3. Now Heroic Tales number 2 is going to come out before Cybercuck 3 and Rainbow the Brute, or Rainbow the Fruit, I should say, at this point. I think that's what I'm going to start calling your book. I'm going to start calling your book Rainbow the Fruit, because that's exactly what the type of nonsense that it should be called. It should be made fun of at this point, because people like me are sick and tired of waiting for that book, and it's starting to look even sloppier and sloppier as you get more updates, like every 3 months or so. But what are we doing exactly? I have 500,000 subs. No, it's 474,000, 475,000. Stop making it sound like it's worse than it is. Instead of keeping the peace to maximize profits, I told all my legit comic buzz and audience by proxy to F off, to curry favor with large YouTubers in an attempt to gain their non-comic buying audience. It cost me hundreds of thousands and not millions of dollars. Meanwhile, ISOM 1, 2... Alpha Core and Yaira number 1 were all $1 million campaigns. ISOM 1 and 2 being multi-million-dollar campaigns. But yeah, their non-comic audiences definitely not buying stuff, right? I couldn't even outsell Jon Malin, who has 12k subs, not to mention EVS at 137k subs. I'm a businessman. You know, do we need to reflect back to this chart here? So, technically, he outsold Godlike in the first 4 days. He also started Graveyard Shift in 5 days. Also, Fearsome, which is an Eat the Man Skyver book. Also, at this point, even without shipping, the Mighty Golden Patriot outsold Cyberfrog Dark Harvest in its second chance, and also outsold the Lionheart variants in its second chance. Oh, by the way, you have 12k subs. Why do you only have a couple thousand backers? Interesting. I mean, you even have, Camelot 331 had 227,000 subscribers, but for some reason he only managed to get 442 backers. Oh, but you're not going to call that out. You're not going to say that's a failure, even though Mighty Golden Patriot beat this campaign too. It's almost as if you don't do the same to both sides. It's almost like rules for thee, but not for me, right? Oh, hang in there, YellowFlash. Oh, look, it's somebody stealing his thumbnail idea and then putting this here. Basically saying that Flash is a illegal immigrant, I guess. April 27th. YellowFlash, you blew it more than anyone ever criticized. You know what to do. Yeah, kiss the ring. Kiss the ring. That's literally all you want him to do. People watch YellowFlash and hear him crap on people they don't want to support. Surprisingly, his entire audience also doesn't want to support him. We've never seen this before. I'm in YellowFlash's audience, and I'm sure a lot of people who supported him are in his audience. What are we talking about? I guess your audience didn't want to support you either. You have 12k subs, and could sell like a couple thousand books. What are we talking about exactly? We've seen content creators sell merch to their audiences before, and these numbers don't make sense. Even if Flash's audience aren't comic buyers, a larger portion of them should presumably be willing to buy his merch. The math ain't mathin'. Why would anybody buy merch for a character that hasn't been established? It's like the same morons who sit there and we're gonna buy Rainbow the Brute action figures for a comic that's 4+ years late. We know nothing about the story, really. We know nothing about the comic. The comic's not released, but you're the same idiots that'll go out of your way to spend your money on trash like Rainbow the Brute action figures for a character that isn't even released and hasn't been established yet. Yeah, make that make sense. That's the type of person this audience contains. A bunch of people who will buy merchandise just to support a creator even though the characters haven't been established yet. Weren't these the same guys before that were talking about how the Yaira statue shouldn't have been bought and Yaira number 1 wasn't out yet? These are the same types, right? If I remember that correctly? Yellow Bag, your big booty daddy Eric left you to rot for months only to launch Yaira on top of you. Different audiences, retard. Different audiences. When Yellow Turd's campaign is over, it'll keep Eric's warehouse staff paid for about an entire half a day. I could almost guarantee it anyway, that they're salary-based. Dummy. Like, how stupid can these guys really be, bro? Like, what does Eric's warehouse staff have to do with YellowFlash's campaign that's only been up for 4 days? Same, and one day I hope we'll enjoy a nice meal together with drinks and cigars. Oh, it's people that this clown thanked even though Tug doesn't give a crap about you, and you're talking about Narwhal. The same guy that you trashed, right, for a while, and then when he started working with Mark Miller on Vatican City, now you want to try to be buddy-buddy with Mark Miller because you work with Narwhal? And of all people, Eric debunks. Are you stupid? This dude doesn't even create comics, my guy. And he thinks trans kids exist. So he's just as retarded as you are. Probably more so. Like, what are we doing, bro? Maybe I'll ask Narwhal to make me a sandwich for old time's sake. Dude, you sound gay. That just sounds very gay. You want another man making you a sandwich. I guess your wife won't make you sandwiches. That's probably why you'll ask another man instead. But here you go. F Yellow Tard, back this book. So yeah, back another book by John Dillard. But don't back the other book by John Dillard because YellowFlash, because my YellowFlash. Dude, you sound stupid. You just sound stupid, bro. Edwin coming back saying, if I was YellowFlash, I'd tune out all the noise and focus on conveying the passion and adventure in the mighty little Patriot. Flash is a Power Ranger fan, and from looking at the broad notes of the story, it appears to have elements of an Indiana Jones, Man in the High Castle, and a bit of Moon Knight tossed into the mix. Again, the people that are angry on the internet about this, that continue to compare this to Power Rangers, are the same dummies that don't know anything about the Power Ranger IP. Meanwhile, Power Rangers can outsell Eat the Van Sky or Cyberfrog. Come on, bro. What are we doing? Flash's entire business is about being angry on the internet, you moron. Well, clearly your entire business model, right? Business is about being angry at everyone who's better than you at their own craft, right? And then on top of that, you quote tweet Vonster, the biggest Karen retard that doesn't know the Punisher. A tourist in comics that didn't know who the Punisher was. The same guy who said Yaira #1 was a girl boss book, and he never read it. He did a reaction to someone else reviewing the book. That's the guy you're going with. The same dummy that did not review Yaira, but called her a girl boss character. The same guy who says, after the Mighty Go and Patriot announcement 8 months ago, Eric has since turned out tons of subpar books assembly line style, which led to many potential customers to move on, but also it's because Flash burnt bridges with real comic fans and artists. No, he didn't. Real comic fans are buying his stuff. Stupid. But again, subpar books. This is what you push out. You push out absolute slop like this, bro. But you want to talk about subpar books? You're telling me that slop looks better than this by Kane and White? Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You're stupid, aren't you? You're telling me that Michael Montanat's art in Bloodroof isn't better than the slop you put out? You're sitting there and telling me that this black and white cover by Deborah Carita is slop compared to this. Oh, what are we doing? You've had one 6-figure campaign and haven't had one since. And it was barely over 100K. So, when YellowFlash outsells all your books, what are you going to say then? What's going to be the goalpost shift then if that happens? Right? What is going to be the goalpost shift? By the way, this magazine that this was featured in has outsold all of your campaigns too. Ripazine #2 made $180,000 during the campaign. Made more than every single one of your campaigns. A magazine, not a full comic book, a magazine, did better than all of your comics. So what are we doing talking about subpar books, bro? If a magazine can outsell you. This magazine outsold Hellafam, an Eat the Van Skyver book, Fearsome, an Eat the Van Skyver book, and pretty much every campaign since. What are we doing? This magazine, people were more interested in this redhead character drawn by Kane and White than all the stuff that Ethan has put out recently. What are we doing? You guys are stupid. Like, Jon Malin, you're an absolute snake. Just like Ethan Van Skyver. That's why you hang around Ethan Van Skyver and Smug Davis. You guys are all snakes. You guys slither around the grass like a bunch of little b****s all the time. Worrying about what other people are making money on. Worrying about what other people's pockets look like. Because you guys are all losers, bro. Rather than talking about what you're working on for the last 4 to 5 days. You've been crying about YellowFlash. That's literally your timeline. That's been your timeline for the last 4 to 5 days. It's just you complaining about YellowFlash, rather than talking about stuff that you're coming out with that's new. And I'm glad I don't buy any of your crap anymore. And the only thing I ever backed from you was Godlike, because all your other stuff looked like crap to me. So thank you all for checking out this video. I really do appreciate all the new subscribers, returning subscribers, new viewers, and returning viewers. If you do like this video, smash the like button. Comment below if you feel about this. Subscribe for more content. Hit the bell for notifications. Set the bell to all. That way you'll get a notification anytime I post a video, go live on the channel. And I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.